It's time. Hey there guys, so most of you probably don't know about this, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favourite anime show of all time, and it's one of my top 10 TV shows of all time. And Legend of Korra is an amazing show. So many reasons why I love The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. The characters are lovable, the stories are intriguing, the messages are thought-provoking, the viewpoint is quick, and the animation is just simply gorgeous. I remember the first time my friend got me into the show. Should we see what's on Netflix? Breaking Bad?
Seen it.
Sopranos?
Ending was rubbish. What about Avatar: The Last Airbender? It's such a great show.
I'm not sure, I'm not a massive fan of Nickelodeon, unless it's Jimmy Neutron.
Put it on now!
Okay, we'll put it on now. Oh my god, that was amazing. Why didn't you tell me this years ago?
I know, right? It's one of my favourite shows of all time.
Should we watch some more?
What about the girls we're going to see later?
Nah, forget it. There's plenty more fish in the sea.
Yeah, let's watch some more.
That's pretty accurate. I've been meaning to do this video for like the last 2 years because I take great passion and pride for The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. So I thought it was time to rank all 7 books of Avatar, which is technically a season, but they call it books. Now before I get started, I just want to say this is my personal preference, so please don't put any nasty comments, this is subjective. If you want to give me your ranking, please comment down below, but for now let's get started with number 7. At number 7, my least favourite Avatar book of all time, the one that started it all from The Last Airbender, that's Water. Now this isn't really a bad series, at best it's good. Pretty much every episode is enjoyable in some way. It does a great job of setting up the characters, the world, the story arcs. I'll always have fond memories of Water, but the reason why it's bottom of my list because the creative team not sure how to execute this series yet in terms of their characters and stories, and most of this series contains filler and it does have a handful of weak episodes, like The Great Define. I mean, what did that episode taught us? It's okay to lie? But to be honest, in some way, even the weak episodes are entertaining, and there are a handful of great episodes. At number 6, we have a series from The Legend of Korra, and that's Spirits. Now, originally I wanted to put this higher on my list, but after consideration, I do have some issues with this series. One, it didn't need to be 14 episodes, it should have been 12. The story arc was carrying too many plots, and Unalaq's the weakest villain by far. Besides from that, it's a really good series. We get to focus on the spiritual world. Compared to The Last Airbender, which touched on it, we really dive into it and it's quite fascinating. And not to mention, we get to see the origins of the first Avatar, Avatar Wu. The characters are further developed and we get to see more of Tenzin and his interaction with his family. And I love the nods from The Last Airbender, Wan Tong's Library, General Zhao and the return of Uncle Iroh. Coming at number 5, the last series of Legend of Korra, and that's Balance. Now a lot of people consider Balance to be in their top 3, and in some ways it is a great series. But for me, I just have some issues with it. The most obvious one is it should have been a longer, not 14 episodes, I'd probably add a few more episodes. Number 2, that episode called The Remembrance is so pointless. I absolutely hate that episode. And number 3, adding Prince Wu to this series. I liked him, but at this point we didn't need another comic relief character. Besides from that, Balance has so many great things about it. We get to see Korra develop much more and overcome what happened to her in the previous season. The action and artwork is amazing. Kuvira is such a fascinating villain. Some characters are pushed back, but some characters really shine in this series, like Junora, Ikki, Amilo, and Ferric. And that ending, it just shows you that Legend of Korra, it's ahead of its time. And when Toph returned and said, "Good to see you again, Twinkle Toes," I almost fainted. Now we're on to the books that are considered to be great. At number 4, we have another one from Legend of Korra, and that's Air. Air is just such a tight series. It does a great job at introducing the characters, the new world, and story arcs. Amon is such a great villain, and we get to see his backstory and how it's related to Avatar Aang. One of the key highlights is the background jazz music, which later seasons forgot. We get to see how technology has evolved and how it's incorporated in Legend of Korra. Korra learning airbending and the pro-bending stuff was a nice subplot. My only nitpick is that the whole series is set in Republic City and it's kind of really restricted, but to be honest, you kind of need the whole series to set in Republic City for the Aman and the Equalists. I remember the first time I was watching the episode Turning Tides, and at the ending when you have General Iroh saying, "Tell them I look forward to retaking the city back," and it was Dante Basco, I was like, fuck yeah! At number 3, we have one from The Last Airbender, and that's Earth. Earth is so great. For a long time, this used to be my number 1, but after giving it a rewatch and consideration, the first 5 episodes is just filler and just sets up better episodes. But Earth is just such a massive improvement over Water, and there's just so many great things about it. Azula provided a terrifying villain which added a layer of depth to this already mature series. Zuko became a relatable character. Earth just had everything we always wanted: action, gravity, attention. Everything in Earth had weight and meaning. The finale is an amazing, and I know it's a rip-off to Empire Strikes Back, but I don't care. And the upper storyline, man, I just wanted to cry, and not to mention it introduces my favourite character in both Avatar shows, and that's Toph. My second favourite book is Change from Legend of Korra. Change is just amazing. I mean, it's one of the greatest seasons of television. It'll always be in my top 2. Some days I consider it to be my number 1, but for now it's at my number 2. Change has some incredible stories. The reintroduction of the Airbenders, the reunion for Lin and Susan, and introducing my favourite villain, Zahir and the Red Lotus. Parts of me was just rooting for Zahir to win. It was great to do some travelling around the world rather than being restricted in Republic City, and we get to see how the 4 elements of bending have evolved, and they really show it in this series, like metal bending. Change has some moments I was like, fuck yeah. We get to see the fight between Avatar Aang's children and the Red Lotus, we get to see Bolin lava bending, and we get to see the return of Zuko. Korra is at her best in this series. She's snarky, in your face attitude from the first season. The only problem that I had is Boomy learning airbending is kind of pointless, he's too old for that. But overall, Change is my favourite season of Legend of Korra. It's one of the greatest seasons of television. And my favourite Avatar book of all time, and probably most of you know it by now, and that's the 3rd and final series of The Last Airbender, and that's Fire. Fire just ended everything in a nice bow. Fire does a great job of highlighting the strength of these characters, and we really dive into them individually in certain episodes. And not to mention, we learn a lot from the Fire Nation in this season. I know Fire contains quite a bit of filler, but I consider them to be the best filler episodes. Sokka's Master, The Painted Lady, the Amber Island Players, and that Footloose episode is quite enjoyable. But there are some great episodes that I just adore. The Firebending Masters, the Puppet Master, the Southern Raiders, the Day of the Black Sun. The main reason why it's at number 1, the series final, the 4-part Sozin's Common, I kid you not, it is the greatest finale in any television show ever. It beats Breaking Bad, The Wire, The Sopranos, so many great shows, it beats it by far. Let's quickly go through the list again. At number 7 we have Water, at number 6 we have Spirits, at number 5 we have Balance, at number 4 we have Air, at number 3 we have Earth, at number 2 we have Change, and at number 1, my favourite Avatar book of all time, Fire. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please go like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's your favourite and least favourite Avatar book. Please check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. I got your back.